Welcome to the Powerful Comicsman podcast. This is Jerald Dorado, and we are now on number 19 of our 40 Life Wisdom at 40 series. But first, let me tell you about Miyucha Lux Cakes. That's our little homemade online pastry shop featuring the best vegan treats, cakes, desserts, donuts, cookies, and lots of other surprises. Check us out at hello.miucha on Instagram and Facebook. That's at HELLO.MIUCCIA. I'm telling you, these are the best vegan desserts available here in the Philippines. All right. Okay, so the 40 Life Wisdom at 40 series continues on the Powerful Comics Man podcast. We are now at number 19. 19? What do we have? All right, 19. This is actually a realization. This is not an advice. It's more of a thing that you need to learn, that you need to realize, that I believe would answer a lot of people's questions if you haven't realized it yet. Number 19. People manipulate others with guilt. Okay, so if ever you get manipulated, which I think every one of us experienced, kasi a lot of there are people who manipulate all the time. Even you. I'm sure, as much as you would like to admit or not, you have experienced manipulating others kahit ano, no matter how petty or kahit on little things and big things. Kahit petty or things that matter. Kasi guilt is a weapon. You can weaponize guilt, and it is one of the most potent, one of the most mean, one of the most effective, I would even say evil. I'll add evil at times. If you want to control someone, guilt the shit out of that person. If it doesn't know how to counter, then you will likely succeed. If you can have leverage, you can emotionally manipulate people. You can destroy dreams. You can destroy their well-being, their happiness. You can destroy their lives. And it is unfortunate too that most of the time the people who can guilt you are the people that matters the most for you. Most of the time it's your parents. A lot of kids can relate to this. And this is a sad reality. And the thing is, this is we're gonna talk more about overcoming guilt in in the next episode. Okay, but that is I'm gonna tell you now. The key is forgiveness, but I'm gonna explain more later. Okay, if you want, because just forgiveness doesn't really. When I first read about this, and I believe this totally, okay, based on what I observed and experienced in my life, I think this is actually on point. Guilt, sometimes you don't know. It can come from people that you expect the most. Least expect pala. The people that you least expect to be guilting you. Kasi you don't realize it, especially if it had been the norm in your life. That bata ka pa lang, people had been making you do things out of guilt. Either either sa bahay na parang bakit ka aalis? 'Di ba? Ba't ka aalis? Maglalakwatsa ka na naman. Sinong magtatao sa bahay? 'Di ba? Mga ganun. And then you are compelled to just stay home. Of course, and the thing about this, the most unfortunate thing about this situation is most of the time this is done out of goodwill. Kasi meron ngang, let's say, meron kang, kaya hindi ka pinapaalis kasi it's, you have a sick grandpa, di ba? That needs care. Sino mag-aalaga dun? O walang tao talaga. Di ba? But then, it's gonna be conflicting to you. Kasi you want to go. You want to be free. And hindi mo siya magawa. Then, sooner or later, it's gonna build up and you're gonna feel that something is unfair. Ganun na yung mangyayari. And let's say guilt is also an effective way to put pressure on you. Let's say pinag-aaral ka namin we're sending you to school, mag-aral kang mabuti, hindi namin na experience yan, mga ganong litanya ng magulang natin, 'di ba? Buti ka pa, you have it way better than I did. And to most probably for your parents, it's just stating a fact. But then again, wala ka namang kinalaman doon, 'di ba? And then you're gonna feel pressured in reaching an expectation, 'di ba? Parang ako, if this is what I did, so this is what I expect from you. And if you fall short, you are not good enough. To a lot of people, that's how it would translate. So if you're doing that, make sure it doesn't come off that way. Because I do believe it's it's malicious, yung intention to those people who say that. And another thing is those who resolve to these kinds of tactics, they had been guilted all their lives as well. That's how they work, because that is what worked on them. And they just don't know any better. Diba? You can observe that. If your parents are guilting you into something, check, siguro naman alam mo yung relationship niya with their own parents. How are they? How is your grandparents treating them? Diba? If they're treating you just the same way, if they were treating your parents just the same way, then that's it. That's the answer. Diba? And it's gonna become a cycle. That is what's another thing that's tragic about this. This becomes a cycle because again, they just don't know any better. And if you don't realize this, you cannot break that cycle. Equipping your mind with this simple idea that guilting people is what works is it actually is a lazy way. It works, but it's lazy, and it's destructive. Um, if your goal is to manipulate, if you're a psycho, 'di ba? You want to manipulate people, then I'm giving you ang ginagawa ko dito, I'm giving you tips on how to do that. But alam mo yun, I'd not suggest that you do that. But at the same time, I am also informing those who are victims of this how to equip themselves against those tactics. Kasi the only one thing, again, I mentioned this earlier on the previous episode, you manipulate because you want to bully. It's about bullying. You manipulate. Let's say there are there are there's endless ang examples ng ways to manipulate you, and people who manipulate you. Your boss, your friends, your lovers, anyone, even strangers can manipulate you. People who can talk to you, who can interact with you, can manipulate you. And alam mo yun, there are I'm also gonna warn you, there are people who are great, who are really good in manipulating others. But I'm giving you the key so that you can recognize it as soon as possible. If you ever feel that you are being forced into doing something you don't like, then most likely you are being guilted into doing that thing. Diba? If your boyfriend, let's say, wants to have sex with you and you don't, ayaw mo, and then he's gonna start saying, siguro hindi mo ko mahal, diba? Then he's guilting you into that. That's guilt, diba? If your best friend or a friend just says something na, or coworker, let's say, parang ikaw naman gumawa niyan kasi ako nga ganito ginagawa ko eh, 'di ba? You have to recognize when something's not right, kasi people, ako I actually enjoy doing favors to others. Pero once I felt na, alam mo yun, I would even draw things for free. Mga ganun. Or sometimes I would even volunteer my services. Oh, I'll go with you. I'll teach that. Diba? I'll sing in your wedding, kunyari, 'di ba? Pero once I felt, or let's say I'm gonna do this project for much less kasi I want to do you a favor and I enjoy it, 'di ba? This looks like a fun project. I can do those things easily. Pero once I felt na parang binobola ka pa, diba pa? Sige, gawin mo yan. Ang galing-galing mo naman. Or parang, if you, magkaibigan naman tayo, mga ganun. Once I felt na I'm being taken for a ride para makaisa sila sa akin, ganun. Which is weird sometimes kasi I've already volunteered myself, di ba? Then I would drop the project, di ba? Parang I would confront them, di ba? Or make them aware that I know what they're doing. So, dude, I'm already doing it. Hindi mo na ako kailangan bulahin, di ba? Kasi it's insulting. And just like encountering bullying, you would need to address it head on. You would have to make your manipulator aware that you are aware that they are manipulating you. So, dude, let's say it's um, they want you to do something. Let's say, stay, ikaw na yung ano, ikaw na yung magbantay sa bahay. Let's go back to that example, di ba? So no, I need to do something. This is let's say a party that you are gonna attend. Let's say an event, and you have kumbaga nagpaalam ka na beforehand, and then they're gonna take it back because reasons, and then you would need to stand up for yourself, diba? So I already talked to you about this, and you can actually, the most effective way to counter guilt tripping is to tell them to their faces, are you guilting me? Are you trying to make me feel guilty? Diba? And most of the time, at first, they're gonna say, no, no, of course not. They're gonna deny it. Kasi it's that's it's gonna be, it's not gonna work, 'di ba? Parang they would want to deny kasi they admitting that you're trying to manipulate someone will expose you, 'di ba? But then again, that would only work for several times. So no, 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 'di ba? Kasi uh, later on he's gonna say, if you keep on doing that, kasi mag-iisip siya ng counter eh, di ba? This is gonna be like a chess game for you guys. So if he goes like, yeah, you should feel guilty. You should stay in kasi reasons, di ba? And then you can just tell them, no. Well, if you're guilting me, since you're guilting me and you admitted it, it's not gonna work anymore. Maybe it did work before, but not anymore. I am freeing myself from that kind of bondage from you. And then it's gonna then just leave him there. Diba? When you say are you guilting me, and then he says, oh no, of course not, of course not. Oh, if that's the case, then I'll just go, di ba? Di ba? So bahala ka na dyan, hindi pala eh, di ba? But when he says, yeah, you should feel ashamed. So no, if that did not work, that worked for me before but not anymore, and then you break the cycle. He's gonna resent that, whoever it is, your friend, your parent, kasi he's gonna lose their hold on you. Yung authority nila on you, yung power nila on you. Kasi manipulating you is other people having power over you. That's the only way you can get manipulated. And guilting someone is an effective way to achieve that. And it's gonna end. Diba? You can't live like that. You have, once you recognize, after hearing this is a very important thing to realize. I'm telling you, this will free you up. Alam mo yun, this may take a little time. I'm not expecting you, or maybe some people can, pero to most people it's a hard thing to, especially if the person who's guilting you actually has power over you, like your boss, let's say, or your parents. You're still living in their house, diba? It's complicated, but if you want, you have to think about yourself as well, your well-being. Are you happy? If you can't, if you cannot make that person realize na it's just destructive to you, na mali na yung ginagawa niya, into guilting you over and over again, then you would need to move on. You need to drop them. You need to get out. That's gonna be the only way if it comes to that. But at the very least, you would have to let them know that you know what they're doing to you. Diba? That you're not being taken as a fool. Kasi aside from the guilt, you're gonna feel stupid. You're gonna feel a lot more powerless. It will affect your confidence and affect your life. And it's not gonna be worth it. Regret is a bitch. One day when you're old, you would want to go back to that point and just tell everyone to fuck off. You're gonna wish for that to happen. Fuck off. Kasi lalo na kung wala ka naman talagang ginagawang masama. I don't know what kind of situation you are in. Maybe you are in struggle with your parents, with your relationships. But you have to do something. If you don't do something about anything, do not expect change. Miracles don't happen like that. Diba? It's it has to come from you. You have to again will go back. Have courage. Have character. Build yourself. Build your confidence. Build your skills. Kasi that would, if you achieve, learn how to produce something, learn, become an expert on things that you like, diba? It will give you confidence. Read, diba? Um, Improve yourself, improve your mental health, improve your intelligence. The more you know, the more you are equipped. Identify your weaknesses and work on them to build your confidence. If you cannot, if you can't even speak up, then what can you do? You will have to make that decision, or otherwise live with the consequences. You can do that too, but chances are you're gonna be unhappy. The choice is gonna be yours. But the thing is, if you ever wonder why some people make you feel so bad, that alam mo yun, wala ka namang ginagawa, that they always pick on you, they always make you feel miserable, like you're a low life, that you mean nothing, that whatever you do, you cannot get their approval. Diba? That's another way to manipulate and guilt, that this is what I expect from you, but you will never achieve it. That's not true. That's not true. I'm telling you now, your our expectations, what we how we see things are different. Diba? There are artists, especially madaming artists were discouraged to pursue art as a career kasi they were discouraged. They were guilted out of it. Diba? Mostly by their parents or somebody else that mattered. That's what's most painful eh. The thing, 'di ba? A stranger cannot guilt you out of your dreams. Nobody. No stranger can guilt you out of your dreams. Only those people that matter to you, 'di ba? The closest ones. But that's life. You can't cry about it. Crying will not help you. Addressing it and helping yourself, equipping yourself with things. If you are an artist, just apply this to whatever you're doing. If you're a baker or your parents want you to become a lawyer, but you want to do art, you want to do music, they're guilting you into doing what they want. Then show them what you got. You have choices. Of course, some people can make it work. Assess assess your abilities, assess your desires, but always choose that at the end of the day you will be happy. Diba? That you will not regret whatever decision you come up with. I think that's good enough. Maybe when I'm 50, I would find something, a better answer. But for me, that's enough for now. Okay? But that's it. You know what they're doing at the very least. Knowing is half the battle. I'm gonna say that again. And kasi some people don't realize this, that they are just being guilted into doing things. But now, since you have been following this podcast, you now know you're being forced. Kasi sometimes hindi mo naman gusto talaga pero napupuwersa ka tapos hindi mo alam kung bakit. Diba? Well, this is it. You are being guilted into doing those stuff. And now that you know, you have the power and options to put that to an end. Okay? There's more about guilt and how to deal with it on the next episode, number 20. We're gonna be halfway through the series. I'm enjoying it a lot. Thank you to everybody who's been following. Follow the Powerful Comicsman podcast. We are on YouTube and Spotify. There's also a Facebook page. I'm gonna be on TikTok soon, hopefully. That's it. People. At number 19, people manipulate others with guilt. Remember that. That is a key. Powerful Comics Man podcast.